Come on, lights. We haven't all day. We've got places to go. Right, welcome back to the channel, everybody, on this bright and sunny day. Wow, look at the views over there, amazing, out towards Silverdale. So we're in Grange-over-Sands at the moment. I've just called to see an old work colleague who I haven't seen for 3 or 4 years. So I thought while I was in Grange-over-Sands I'd go and see him, and then we'll make our way over towards Cartmel, I think, and then from then I'm not too sure. I did think about going up to Grisdale, but we'll see. This road, if you go back the other way, it takes you into Cartmel, where they make the famous gingerbread. And now we're just dropping down into the centre of Grange-over-Sands. Just at the time of year now, with all the blossoms out, it's fantastic. We'll just turn right here. All this sunny weather's brought everybody out. Quite a few tourists around now, with the children being on holiday for the Easter break. When I set off this morning, I had a Revit lightweight jacket on. I don't know whether any of you out there follow a lady called Itchy Boots. It's a Dutch lady who's travelled around the world on a motorbike done a lot of off-road riding, and on her videos she used to wear a Revit lightweight jacket, breathable jacket, with mesh panels in the front and on the arms. So I thought, oh, that'd be quite good, just for the summer, for the better weather. So I bought one in an olive green, and I've used it quite a few times on the enduro bike in the warmer weather. But I've tried it on this bike, and with the mesh panels there's just far too much airflow through the jacket and the arms. You know, anything above 30 miles an hour and you can feel it. And I've been wearing a lightweight fleece underneath, so at the moment I'm wearing a polo neck to stop the airflow going into your neck, and then I've a lightweight fleece over the top of that, and then I was wearing the Revit jacket as well. But it's still a cool jacket to wear. It's just not warm enough, even on a day like today. And I don't know what the temperature is at the moment. It's probably about 11-12 degrees. They're just not a warm jacket. So if you're living abroad in a hot country, then I can imagine the jacket's very useful. But for over here, they're just not warm enough. Say you can, from 30 miles an hour onwards, they're just too cool. So I nip back home and change my jacket. So I've got the Andes jacket back on, which is a windproof jacket as well. It just made a huge difference. And this is Alithwaite. This is the sort of road that this bike's made for. Twisty B roads. Also, when I was going along the A6 towards Milthorpe, I was doing around 50 miles an hour, and there was quite a bit of wind noise on this helmet, and it's something which I have noticed since I've changed the bike, and obviously I'm going higher speeds. I have noticed far more wind noise on the helmet. Now I don't know how noisy this helmet is in comparison to other helmets, but it is, as I said, quite noticeable. So I've still got the DJI Mic 2 just sat above the chin guard in my helmet, so it's still not fastened on inside the helmet. So I've put still left the dead cat on, and it's still wrapped up in a cloth and just sat inside there. So we'll monitor it, monitor the sound. And if the wind noise is getting too much, at higher speeds on the bike, and I'm going to have to rethink going forward what I do with the mic. At these sort of speeds, you know, 30 mile an hour, 40, but you get above that, you do notice that wind. So we'll see. There you go, look, there's a sign for Holden Gardens. They hold quite a few large events each year there, including like a country fair and a rose show, I think. I've also changed the field of view on the camera to super wide. So again, when I get to edit this video, we'll see what the footage is like, see if it's acceptable. Got the views over towards the Lakeland Fells. That's Coniston Old Man, I think, that you could see in the distance. Suspension, as you would expect, still feels quite firm. Well, that will soften up in time, won't it? getting back onto the main road shortly, I would think. Old railway line. Right. I think we'll turn right here, go back towards Newry Bridge and fill up with fuel, because at the moment I'm not too sure if there's a petrol station in Greenodd. Whitewater Hotel. So down there by the river used to be the Dolly Blue Works. The Dolly Blue was a powder used to put in water to whiten your clothes. And when you used to go past, all the buildings were just covered in this blue powder. Now there's a museum there and a hotel and self-catering accommodation. I think what we might do, rather than go up to Grisdale, we'll just get some fuel at Newry Bridge and then go up the side of Windermere, and then you can turn right up over the top and end up at, I think it's called Bowland Bridge, and then we can go down the Lythe Valley. back on the road again after fueling up. It was my intention to stop at Grisdale Cafe where they hire all the bikes out. There's a cafe there. But seeing that we're going a different way, so I've just got myself a Greg's sausage roll and some orange juice. We can eat that up at this Viewpoint when we stop. Just noticed when I've put these climb gloves back on at the petrol station, the tab where it fastens onto the glove is coming unstitched. So I'm going to have to take it into Morecambe. There's a lady that specialises in repairs. We once took a pair of trials boots there to be restitched, so she'll be able to restitch that tab back on for me. I think it could be here where we're turning off. Yeah, there's a sign there saying Mason's Arms, which is on Strawberry Bank, so I know this is the road. Should get some really nice views up from this top. There we go. Wow, look at that. Fantastic. The building across there, this is where the steamers operate from, on the west side of the lake of Windermere. You see Newby Bridge down the river there. course looking over towards Coniston Allman. Probably you won't be able to see it that clearly, but there's Parc y Stickle and Pavey Arc above the forested area. Incredible. Right, I think it's time to crack open the Greggs sausage roll. Just up here, one moment. You can't see the lake now, fortunately. Amazing views though. You just see people up there walking above the trees, up onto that promontory. So I hope you've enjoyed our little ride over from Grange-over-Sands to Cork and Cartmel and up above Windermere. If you have, give me a big thumbs up, it really helps the channel, and we'll see you shortly.